I think we've heard enough from Mr. Caldwell. But would you like to explain what we're looking at? And I can read portions of this if you want, Tracy, but this was pretty alarming. I'll tell you what I screenshotted. This is 2 pages. I can read it if necessary, or read parts of it if necessary. And then there's like 52 pages of this kind of stuff. And that's all. I'm going to leave it there and turn it over to you, Tracy.
Yes. So I get tons and tons of documentation, and I try to upload as much as I can to the website immediately. And the reason I do that is because I understand the risk that I'm taking. And I want people to be able to continue on with this mission should anything happen to me. So I try to upload it as quickly as I can after I get that information. So I got an email and a text with 50 some pictures of the type of people that Grandpa, 56-year-old Craig Hagin, is following with his C. Hagin 1987 account. I did verify that is his account. That's anyone can go on that and look at it. I also had other people verify that is his account. He also uses the same username on Parler. So I'm sorry, it's C. Hagin 1987.
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
Username. These women, number one, they're half naked. Number two, they're extremely young that he's following. I definitely younger than his children. So his children range in age from 25 to 32. And so they sent me there's 2 OnlyFans accounts that he's following. So it was reported to me that this person reported it to Rhema, and that they know that Craig was notified because he stopped following. There was one where the person is transgender.
The one at the top of the list, yeah.
And
Keep
so
going.
He stopped following that after this person brought it to Rhema's attention. But it's literally, I think it's close to 50 images. Images that while I was working on this, I told my husband, I was like, you probably don't want to be in here for this.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible. What we have to realize is that let's just say that Craig Hagin wasn't someone who was raised under the teaching of the Bible.
Right.
Let's pretend that Craig wasn't a teacher at a Bible college. Let's pretend that Craig isn't an international ministry going to teach people in other countries his philosophies. Let's just pretend that Craig is a husband. Even that, I didn't even want my husband to see those images. They're so vile. And then you have these women that are being sexualized by these men.
The whole industry is victimizing, but there's willing participants or willing patrons, like evidently like Craig Hagin.
One of the girls was 18 years old when he was following her.
Yeah. So how about we do this real quick? Just to tell the to tell the story. So look, I'm going to speed skim this just a little bit, and I cannot see the screen when I'm reading this. So Tracy, if you want to stop me, just holler out. I will be responsive. But this is what came in. I joined Rhema Bible Training Center as a student in 2021, and it goes on to kind of describe just like some really sloppy habits, and I don't think Craig Hagin was much of an instructor. And when he taught a financial class and bragged about his credentials, and then bragged about the shoes that he was wearing and whatnot. But in 25, He was on social media and he found a funny video filmed by a woman, and he went to her account to find more funny videos.
And this is the reporter. Yeah.
Yeah. Say it again now.
That's the reporter saying that.
Yes. This person that the tip came from, and I understand that. You're on social media, you're on Facebook or whatever, or one of these Insta, whatever, you see something that's humorous. And so, yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I want to get, but what they found when they went to the source of this funny video is that it wasn't mostly funny videos. Am I making this make sense? They're into this nasty stuff. And lo and behold, as soon as he finds that out, he recognizes the C. Hagin 1987 and is like, what? And then he starts realizing that his former instructor is following all this. His former instructor is following a world of young ladies that as you read the tip that came in, he wasn't even aware of this world. It's like, anyway, I'm probably butchering it, but what I'm saying is the tipster found this innocently enough. It wasn't like he's feeding at the same trough and Craig's right next to him. He found it innocently enough. And I don't know, take it from there, Trey. This is just mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing to me.
And here's the thing. What you do in darkness is going to come out in the light. Yeah. It's going to come out. And I applaud every person who's called me and emailed me and sent me messages, and even the ones who haven't got the courage to speak yet. It's a hard choice to make. I do have everyone's information that is sending me tips, right? So even if I report things anonymously, I know where they came from. I know the source. And I think it was really brave of him to send it in. And I think we need more people with that courage, more people to say, I'm not going to look the other way anymore. I'm not going to pretend that this isn't a problem in a worldwide ministry. This isn't just a virus in a small local church. This is a virus that's going around the world. It's affecting Africa. It's affecting Brazil. It's all Mexico, Canada, you name it, Rhema's there. And that Craig Hagin was the one doing the international travel. Craig made a statement. He said, I don't like to be at home. I like to be on the road. I bet you do, Craig.
Pshoosh. Wow. And so the whistleblower that sent this info, they reported it, correct?
Yeah. So it's become very clear to me. It's not one report. It's not 5 reports. It's so many reports of people saying, I reported it and I got fired. I reported it and nothing happened. I reported it and then all of a sudden there was an allegation against me. This cover-up culture has got to stop. We have to stop excusing blatant criminal activity as, whoops, I made a mistake. You don't whoops into an affair. You don't whoops into pornography. You don't whoops into drugs. You make a conscious choice to do these things. And we need to start holding people accountable, especially people in leadership and in the churches. Like, we cannot hold on to this pray it away philosophy. It is killing our children.
I'm going to ask 2 questions, one and then the other. Here's the first one. Through the course of you receiving all this tipster information, all this victim whistleblower information, have you come to the personal conclusion that the top leadership, in this case it would be Kenneth Hagin Jr. and his wife Lynette, that they knew things and looked the other way?
I have come to the personal conclusion that every teacher at that school, every international director at that school, every executive pastor knew that what was going on. To the level that they knew it, there may be some discrepancies.
Yeah.
But anybody involved, if you were on the worship team, you knew it. If you were on Rhema Singers and Band, you knew it. If you were a teacher at that school, you knew it. And it's time to do the right thing. I'm going to continue calling it out, and I will tag you. I will, when I get the report, you need to do the right thing. I'm not playing games with this. These are people's lives at stake.
Yeah. So that was my first question. So the answer, as I can reinterpret it, was yes, but it's even worse than that, because it's not just the two at the top. It's the whole stinking system. That's your personal opinion, and you're entitled to that. So here's my second question. How'd it make you feel to come to that realization? These are people that at one time you looked up to and respected, right?
It broke my heart. Every time I get a story, it breaks my heart. Like, I'm getting emotional right this very second, because this wasn't a game to me. Christianity wasn't a game to me. Rhema wasn't a game to me. The call of God on my life was not a game to me. You know, it may be a game to you, Craig Hagin, but it's not a game to me. I think it's important. I think that this is our children's hope and their future. I think that you're stealing money from people who don't have it to be stole from, so you can spend it on blackmail and OnlyFans pages and God knows what else. And I want to know why you're coming back from Brazil with suitcases full of money. And I think we should be able to have this discussion. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
This is very, very unsettling. I want to go here for just a moment if I can. I guess it's through the radio mostly, but I've said several times on this program, I've learned a lot from Kenneth Hagin Sr. And what I've learned that is positive, I get to keep. There's a lot of stuff I don't want to keep, and a lot of stuff I've had to, sort out and get rid of. But we are who we are. We come from where we come from, and we've been influenced where we've been influenced. But I gotta say, so I'm being kind as I can with Kenneth Hagin Sr., but I just want to run this by you as a real Rhema person. This is from his book, Love the Way to Victory. The body of Christ shouldn't publicize everything that happens within its ranks. Things like this. He's talking about clergy sexual abuse, but he calls it an affair, and reconciliation. Things like this shouldn't be brought out in public. Those of us in the church should have enough spirituality to deal with these things privately within the confines of the church. When something happens in your family, do you go out and broadcast it? No. In the same way, the church is a family. We ought to have enough sense to know how to deal with some of these problems in the church and help people. Tracey, when I read that, in light of all of these things, I just got the sense that in Kenneth Hagin Sr.'s world, the family didn't include the people sitting in the pews. The church being a family was the preachers and the leaders, not the entire congregation. Does that make sense?
It does. And so as someone with investigative background as a career, I can tell you that every child abuse investigation that I did, when the family taught their children not to talk about what was happening inside the house, outside of the house, it was usually because what was happening in the house shouldn't have been happening.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, it's just, if you're objective and you've read a couple of books that I got basically for research purposes, and this was so painful to me to realize that Kenneth Hagin Sr. really seemed to have this belief that the congregation shouldn't know the truth. You keep that secret. You call it family, but you don't share the truth with the whole family, which means it's the preachers are family And I guess everybody else is just a product. Can I give you one more quote from him? Okay.
Yeah.
And then this one really, I know one minister who was used mightily of God years ago. He got into moral trouble. Well, by the way, if you keep reading, Tracey, Kenneth Hagin will call that an affair. So it was a sexual affair. Now, of course, I believe it was clergy sexual abuse, but I digress. I know one minister who was used mightily of God. He got into moral trouble. The superintendent of that denomination told me. Now, please, this man's wife admitted to me that she was to blame for it. She admitted she had never been a wife to him, and it caused her husband to stumble. But she repented, and their marriage was restored. Tracey, I really want to. I'm bad. I'm not the greatest interviewer, and I'm not a sex guy, and I'm not a family ministry guy. So there's some things that I'm not going to say much on. But I understand that in a marriage relationship, that there's intimacy involved. Okay, and the scripture says, "Don't defraud one another." Okay, I get that, but I have a problem with this language. The man has the affair, and the wife admits that she was to blame. What kind of wackadoodle stuff is that coming from Tulsa, Tracey?
Well, it's funny that you mention it, because today I got a phone call, and she mentioned that she was in a class, and I would have to, let me see. I think it was 2006. She was in the Kenneth and Lynette marriage and family class. And Kenneth Hagin, so Pastor Hagin, said that if a woman gets raped, it was her fault. What? That she did something. This is what was reported to me. Now, all of the Rhema, everything that happens at Rhema is recorded. So I'm sure there's a tape of it somewhere. But she said that really bothered me. And she said, so I wrote a letter and gave it to Lynette Hagin, Pastor Hagin's wife. And she said about 2 months later, Lynette got up and they said, turn off the microphones. And she said, well, sometimes people say things they don't really mean. No, sorry. You don't say that a woman had it coming if that's not what's really in your heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah. I'm going to read that again. Well, that's why I used bold. Yeah, you highlight it and then you bold it, and then you feel like, oh man, I'm making a joke here, Tracey. This man's wife admitted to me that she was to blame for it. She admitted she had never been a wife to him. And I used this in a previous program, but to use the word admitted, that would mean that the superintendent of that denomination would have had to have accused her. Her husband has strayed, and he's accused her of it being her fault, and she admitted it.
It's not the first time I'm hearing this. It's not the first time I've heard statements like this coming out of the Word of Faith movement. And here's the thing. They're grooming women. They're grooming them, which in turn is grooming our daughters, grooming our granddaughters, that this is the way that God wants you to live. And that's what's so dangerous, right? Because you're not disappointing your husband. You're disappointing God. You can't use any other word than a cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's rolling out into our society here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's in my opinion, that's why domestic violence is at the top in the nation.
So if you're a Word of Faith, a church attender in Tulsa, is what you're saying, Tracey, is that you're helping your culture be the
worst in the nation.
Yeah, thank you. You got to the poorest, the most abusive, and
the highest drug addicted.
And if a female gets raped, well, she had it coming because she was probably wearing the wrong outfit.
And Lord forbid, You have to go into the legal system.
Folks, I got to be on the road like way early in the morning, like 5 o'clock, and we'll be giving y'all some updates on that. But thank you for being with us, and I'll pray for this situation. I learned some things tonight. I would have thought that with everybody learning about the 100-fold return and all these different, I would have thought Tulsa would have been just like, like there's nobody that doesn't have 2 cars and 2 garages. And anyway, this was quite eye-opening to me. On our website, you can go and help the Eubanks get their life on solid ground. And if you'd like to be a support to Ohio for Freedom, ohioforfreedom.com, PayPal link, bank card link, Zelle link, and our P.O. Box is P.O. Box 344, Mason, Ohio, 45040. Folks, we really appreciate your prayers. We have a very busy several days ahead of us, and we'll be reporting on that soon. So until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio, the United States of America. And we send our greetings and blessing to our friends around the world. Good night, folks.